So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Donna Grant.
And I'm Virginia DeBerry.
And we like to cook up stuff together.
Yeah, we write books. At least that's what we're doing now.
We did a bunch of stuff together before.
Before we stumbled into the writing world. And once we stumbled, we never got back up again. we are still there.
Well, and which happened at a party, which somehow makes sense.
Yes. Everything good should happen at a party, but mostly it doesn't.
I don't even know who it was that started that off. How is it we got to the idea that we were talking about how we would write together?
I don't have any idea either, except that it had to do with the magazine that we did, right, and the newsletter that we did, and them not turning into the things that we thought they were going to. And somehow in our collective insanity, we decided that we were going to try and write a book together.
Well, and I think that it started at a party. And for reasons that I can't exactly grasp at the moment, it's like we started making up a story.
Well, we used to do that on our Fridays in my apartment when I was living in Manhattan, and I lived in a great building that was really close to lots of good things and on everybody's way to or from anywhere. And on Fridays, I would have these things called Fridays, and people would stop by anytime from 4 o'clock on, and we would imbibe champagne, cocktails. Remember all the broken blenders on the margaritas?
Yes.
Yeah, we did that too. And I don't know, one of us started telling a story and somebody said, "Oh, what happens next?" And
the other ones ad-libbed something.
Yes.
And
the next time we would get together, they wanted to know what happened next, and we would make up some more stuff. I don't even know what that first story was about, because there were too many bottles of something, and too many years since that happened. But I just don't recall. But it led to us deciding that we were going to try and write a book together.
Well, because we knew that we had to do something together, because we had the magazine together, and
we had so much fun working together, and it worked so well that we knew that this was something that was just right. It was a gift from the gods. We don't know how, and we've told other people who say they want to write a book with their best friend, be careful. They might not be your best friend afterwards. But for us, somehow it just worked out.
It's that we think inside each other's heads for, again, reasons that I don't
Which is a little
clearly,
freaky. But they may have burned us at the stake at another day and time, but
that's sort of, I don't know. Is it that we are enough alike and enough not alike? I don't probably need to know at this point.
No,
but
it's too late now. We're done.
Yeah, and it's we came up with this story and we thought, okay, let's see if somebody will publish it, and they did.
And they did. Well, yes, and we also, before we came up with the story completely, we went to the bookstore and we bought a little paperback book called How to Write a Novel and Get It Published. And we read it from cover to cover, and we said, okay, we think we can do this. And we did. We came up with the story outline, and Donna sent it to a literary agent that she knew. And in 2 weeks, we had a deal with Warner Books. It was just kind of astonishing.
But we had to finish this book in 4 months.
Yes. And we didn't know that you couldn't write a book in 4 months, but we did. Because, of course, at the end of that 4 months, I think I was paralyzed from like the waist up. I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't move my neck. But we lived on caffeine and chocolate and maybe some other things, but nothing illegal. Nothing illegal. But that's what we did. We wrote and we wrote and we wrote and we wrote. And that book was called Exposures. And now here we are all these years later, and we are finding out that 3 of our books are being re-released in 2024. And we're pretty jazzed about that.
Yeah, it's Trying to Sleep in the Bed You Made.
And Better Than I Know Myself will be out January 23rd.
Mhm.
And Far From the Tree will be out, re-released in March. I think it's March 19th.
Okay.
But in that early writing time, we were under the crunch. And as we said in an earlier video, if you saw the earlier video, I'm always the one that likes the machine, and Donna likes paper.
I do. I like the feeling of writing the words. I've gotten better about that. Well, is it better? I don't know. But I've gotten more able to actually write directly on the keyboard. But yeah, at the beginning, I needed some paper and a pen.
And we wrote that first book on a Brother memory typewriter that stored 6 pages of memory. So we would print it on NCR paper, like your receipt from the
really
restaurant, so you
stinky.
get a copy. And it smelled terrible. And every 6 pages, we had to dump the memory and start all over again. But we managed to get it done. Even adding Donna's pieces of yellow legal paper that were taped and had arrows because this part gets inserted here, and it was all pretty
Low tech.
it was very, very, very low tech. And when we got paid from that book, minus our agent's commission, divided in half, we bought Gateway computers. They came in these gigantic boxes that looked like cowhide. They had the black and white things on them. And I remember coming into my building, and this giant box was waiting in the lobby with the doorman. And it was crazy. And those computers had 40 megs of memory. But it was better than the 6 pages that we had in our little typewriter. And we were able to write our next book with our computer. So what we did with our first book, and our first royalty payment, was we bought computers so that we could do what we do better.
Invested in
We did. We invested in our Yep. And we worked on we probably wrote Trying to Sleep in the Bed You Made on those computers.
Did we?
And I think
I guess we did.
Yeah.
I guess we did. Yes,
Yep.
that's true.
We did.
So that served us well. And,
Yes. And we know that writing on a memory typewriter, for those of you who have only known computers, may not understand what it's like, but it was kind of like writing with a quill and ink and an oil lamp, maybe the way Melville wrote Moby Dick or something. It was pretty basic, but we managed to get it done.
But the words are the words, and
they're still there.
Yeah. So I'm happy for technology. It makes life a lot better.
Which is why
make a video back then.
Which is why I don't write checks. Everything I do, I push a button. And I know I'm probably asking for trouble out there in the cyber world, but so far, so good. Yeah.
So we'll actually be out there a little bit, and we can talk about that later with the publication of the books. But we're looking forward to talking to readers, because that's a lot of fun.
Yes. So hit us up, DeBerry@Gmail. We're on Insta. We're on, as you know, we're on TikTok, and we are on, we're still on Facebook. So you can find us any of those places. Bye.
Bye.